Hello everybody and welcome to my video, Getting Tidier. I hope you're all well and thank you so much for following me and subscribing to my channel. So nearly at 3,000, and don't forget, when I get to 3,000 subscribers I'm going to be doing my giveaway. You can see a little bit of information there in terms of who is following me, and I like this because this regularly changes in terms of who's in the top 10 of people who subscribe. So remember, Holland joined us. We've got Netherlands there. I don't know why it's phrased differently. And then Hungary joined us, but Hungary are no longer in the top few. And instead we've got Turkey. And then most of my subscribers are women, 91%. And that was, I think, 95% before. So a bit of a mix. So in this video, I do quite a few different bits and pieces. So I start with a couple of photographs just so you can see what I was doing in preparation for this video. I spent some time really trying to clear and sort out the back of my doorway, which has had real good effect. I just thought, you know, it's now autumn, getting to be autumn time. I'm going to clear everything up and tidy it all up. And now it feels like all open. And a wider space is really nice. And I feel like my kitchen is so much better. So I'd got a few things there sitting by my wine that's brewing that I mentioned the other day. And I thought, oh really, those things have been sitting there. My husband brought them in and left them there. I don't know why he's bought more mint sauce. But a few things have been left there. So I thought, well, I'll pick them up and put them away. And then I am really trying very hard just to maintain the kitchen. So on the videos, a couple of things that still need to be put away. So we've got the chip maker, fryer, whatever it is, that we bought. And that really needs to find a home in the pantry. But the pantry is heaving, and at the moment I'm climbing over a big pile of things that's really at the doorway. But more and more, I think my mindset about this whole thing is changing. You'll be pleased to know. So those of you that have been following me for a while, can you remember me sorting out the cupboard with the plates and the cups and everything? I took everything out and I got rid of quite a few mugs. And there were some other bits and pieces and everything in there that I just got rid of. I must have, I don't know, got rid of about 10 mugs and different items. Well, I decided to revisit that whole area. So this will be the third time I've gone into these cupboards. And there was quite a few more things I could get rid of. And then I went to make my daughter's drink and she said, oh no, I've put that in the pile of the things to get rid of. There was one mug that my husband said, oh, you're getting rid of my Scorpio mug. And it's like a horrible great mug. And he's got loads of mugs. He's got Norwich City football mugs, a mug with his name on, loads of mugs. I said, what, you want the Scorpio mug, do you? He said, oh yeah, I quite like that. Oh, I thought, oh, but the main thing is I'm getting rid of about 10 mugs or glasses or plastic beakers. So that's really good. And there was a little chip, do you know Disney, that do the, the little character, the Beauty and the Beast, the little character chip. It's a tiny little mug. I thought we'd get rid of that as well. No, my daughter said she wanted it. I said, in that case, do you want to find a place for it as an ornament in your room? Well, she doesn't really want more things in her room, does she? So she said, no, I want it in the cupboard. I said, it's so small. I said, that's about 4 mouthfuls of drink. Oh, I like my hot chocolate in it. So there were 2 that I had to put back in the cupboard, but all the others are going to the charity shop. So I'm pleased. And that's meant that I'm getting more and more space in the cupboard. So I think that when I take everything out of the pantry again, which is going to be one of my big Monday morning jobs, I think I'm going to be able to get rid of more. Like, for instance, I've got a big number 1 that I had for my daughter's first birthday. Now, I keep thinking I'm going to keep it because if I buy 3 and then I'll do a 13, and now I've said that, I'm thinking, yeah, actually I probably should keep it. But there'll be other things in there that I can get rid of. Things that I don't like, things that don't bring me joy, things that I don't need. So I am feeling quite positive. I also looked into the sky on a walk tonight. I went on a walk with a friend and there was a full moon. So I thought, oh, do I find it easier to get rid of stuff when there's a full moon? So hopefully you will have seen my kitchen much tidier. And then I also do get some washing out on the line and just sort some general jobs on this video. But then I spend quite a bit of time sorting out the back of my dining room, the back of my house. So we use this door to come out to the garden quite frequently. Some of the chairs were all left out, and so I just wanted to have a tidy up. There were 2 pairs of shoes that I've put in the bin. So there's a pair of my husband's Crocs, which are all split, a pair of my shoes that were split and aren't really tall enough, and they're beyond being able to be given to the charity shop. So I put them in the bin. There was a bath mat which had a rip in it, which I'd thought I'm going to use that to put on my vegetable plot to suppress the weeds. But I hadn't, and it was just sitting there in a pile at the door. So I thought I'm going to put that in the bin. There are a couple of cloths that just need to be washed. So they need to be put into some of them need to be put in the shed, others need to be washed and then dried. And then we'd got a few chairs that were left over from when we had my daughter's birthday. So they needed to go back into the shed. And then the vine has got a bit wild, so I decided to cut the vine back. But this whole veranda is like from the 1930s, and my husband has been planning to do a new one for the last 3 years. I think it's 3 years, and it's been, I'll do it before your birthday, I'll do it before your our wedding anniversary, I'll do it before our daughter's birthday. And then there's been the same cycle now for 3 years. So this year was the same thing. I'll do it for your birthday, which is May. Let's do it for the wedding anniversary, which is June. Let's do it for our daughter's birthday, which is August. And it's still not been done. So I did say, would it be worth getting a quote from someone to do it? It is a big job, and I'm wondering perhaps if my husband just thinks maybe it is too big to take on. He's got, a good job. He's very busy with his job. So maybe I should just think about getting a quote for it. I think the biggest, labour is so expensive, but it's also like the wood and everything. The prices have just gone through the roof. But then if we got a price, then we'd know what we were working towards, wouldn't we? And even if my husband did it all, we'd still have to buy the materials. So I clear all the leaves as much as possible. And in the process, I lost some little lights that had been hanging up, but they'd got ripped and damaged. So when they fell down, I thought, right, they can go in the bin. And then you can see on the right-hand side there where the greenery has come right over the patio. I think that's partly why the patio now feels so much more spacious, because I cut all that greenery right back. So that was good. So I'm thinking on Saturday evening that I might do a live chat face to face. So I've never done one before. So, I might get no one available to chat. I might get 2 of you available to chat. I don't quite know how it will work. But I thought I might do that if anyone's free. So I thought I'd do that. I think I said 8 o'clock GMT. So that'll be sort of afternoon for some of you and evening for others. So if you're free and you want to have a chat, then that'd be lovely to speak to you. I don't quite know how the technology works, because when I do one of my premieres, not sound like I was going to say premiering then, my premiere, is that what it's called? I'm losing, when I do it so that comes on and I could chat, that means that I can chat live, but I want to do it where I go live and I actually talk. You can ask questions or talk about things and I'll respond. But yeah, you'll have to bear with me a little bit because I've never done it before. So we'll see how that works. Okay, so now I'm just going to go through some of your most recent comments. So the first comment I'm going to go through is from Barbara Palmore. Or was it Palmore? Depends where you're from, Barbara. If you're Italian, I think it would be Barbara Palmore. Although Barbara doesn't sound a very Italian name. Perhaps you can tell me. I hope you're thinking of getting a dishwasher. I don't know how you keep all your dishwashing done while working and caring for your family. You need to make your cleaning up a little easier. Look forward to your videos. I know. And then Brooke has replied to this and said, I mentioned you to my mum today and she reminded me that I did the majority of my dishes from 4th grade, age 10, until I left for college. There are pictures of me helping my grandma with washing up when I was 3 or 4. Besides tidying up after myself and mowing ours, my grandma and great aunt's yards, I don't recall any other chores until I started helping with laundry in high school. Wow. So I said that my daughter couldn't really wash up or wipe up because she's quite short for her age. I think I was probably 11 and I wiped up every other night, which my mum then had to nag me to do. And sometimes my sister would do 2 nights in a row. And then very rarely I hoovered the bathroom carpets. That was back in the days where everybody in England had a carpet in their bathroom. That was very common. Not common now, I might add. And sometimes I'd hoover the carpet. My mum always said I'd done a good job. So I liked that positive feedback. So I liked doing that. But otherwise, I didn't do anything. And I could only cook one meal when I got married. But Brooke, that sounds like you were doing quite a lot. I mean, you were doing most of the dishes from age 10. Aww. Did you enjoy doing it though? And then you tidied up after yourself, which that's obviously important. And you mowed. Do you mean you mowed the grass for your own home, for your grandma, and for your great aunt? Wow, that is quite a lot. And Barbara, in answer to your question, yes, I would like a dishwasher. And if you go back through some of my videos, you'll see I talk about this in Italy. Because when we were on holiday, there was a dishwasher, I think, in nearly all the accommodation, apart from the holiday park. And goodness, it was so much quicker to tidy up and clear up. It really was. But my problem really comes is where on earth can I put it? I did think about putting it where the fridge is, but I've been told that the plumbing wouldn't work. I can't put it where the washing machine is, because where am I going to put the washing machine? I can't put it under the sink because there's the sink there, so there's not enough space. So it's a bit of a problem, really. That's if we had designed the kitchen differently, maybe that would have been possible. But I don't think that's possible. My husband spent quite a lot of time looking into whether we could have a little dishwasher, one of the small size ones. But I don't think it's going to work, unfortunately. Any suggestions are very, very welcome. Karen says, I notice you rarely open the cupboard to the left of the stove. Now, what I need to do with that cupboard on the left-hand side, I think I touched on this yesterday or the day before, but that cupboard is full of dishcloths, wiping up cloths and saucepans, only because the cupboard has become really untidy again, I can't get the saucepans in. I do need a simpler system for the saucepans. Now, my mum's kitchen is exactly the same size, shape, layout, because she doesn't live that far away from me and it's almost exactly the same house. But she's got her saucepans on like an open shelf unit. Now, I didn't want an open shelf unit because I felt like everyone would see the stuff and I wanted it covered and it might get dusty. But I can now see the benefits of that. So I need to revisit. That'll be the second time I'll have done that cupboard to see what more we can get rid of. Actually, I'm a little bit nervous. I told you, didn't I? When it was my daughter's birthday, my dad and his partner did loads of washing up and wiping up to help us, which was massively appreciated. But when they left, I realised that they were using rather than a dishcloth, they'd found what is like one of my rags that they thought was a dishcloth. And I'm really worried that they might think that I'm short of dishcloths and wiping up cloths and get me some wiping up cloths for Christmas. I must remember to say to my dad, oh, just to let you know, I've got loads. Because we've got loads of new ones all in there, so I don't need any more. Pam says, hi, Emma. Please don't put any coloured wash on a 75-degree wash, only white towels. Okay, thank you. I must say we had a decent day here on Wednesday, clear blue sky, but lovely and windy. Our white towels were so bright, blowing on the line, it made me smile. I sometimes think it's all the little things that we often overlook that can make us happy. So my washer gets a 75 wash once a week, and as another viewer mentioned, I also leave the washer door open a couple of inches once all the washing has been done. Okay. On the subject of spaghetti bolognese, I've always browned off the mince first. I never realised you didn't have to. I agree about the new packaging of mince though. It's the same in Sainsbury's too. Thankfully, I don't shop there now. I just couldn't bring myself to buy it. As you say, it just looks like a slab of meat and doesn't even look like minced beef. Yeah, do you know, I was talking to my mum's partner about this, and he found somewhere that still is selling it in the normal packaging, like you have. And he said the same thing. When you take it out, it's like this massive great slab that then won't break up because it's been vacuum packed. They've like minced it, but then squashed it all together. But what I found really helped was, you know, I was cooking that bolognese and putting it in the freezer. Well, today I got it out and defrosted it. And as soon as I then defrosted it, it all broke up like normal mince. So that was good. But I think some of this is a bit silly. You know, this sort of, they're so focused on the environmental impacts. You know, it's a bit like the paper straws, isn't it? So we're not allowed to have plastic straws anymore. So we have paper straws. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Cut down on the plastic. But then the paper straws don't actually work. And like when my daughter tries to put some paper straws in cartons, they don't work. And I think there's some countries that, you know, probably use 10 times more fossil fuels, etc., and plastic and chemicals than what we use. But we're worrying about plastic straws and the packaging of mince. And then we end up with minces like some slab which isn't mince and paper straws that don't work. I guess people would say, well, it's the little things that help the environment, which I do agree with, but we need the little things to also work. Yeah, Pam says, I think it's a vacuumed pack. Yeah, it is. That's the problem. I won't buy it though. Thankfully, Ocado still sell it in regular packaging. Okay, thank you for that. So Ocado still sell it in normal packaging. I wonder where else do, because I'm not going to be buying that mince again. And then Nan Holmes said, you need a dryer. Don't you all not normally have dryers? And may I ask why you'll put your washers in the kitchen? Asking from, oh, I see. May I ask why you all put your washers in the kitchen? Asking from North Carolina. That's Nan Holmes. It's a good question. We all do things slightly differently, don't we? And I did reply, say in England we put washing machines in the kitchen. In brand new houses they're often very small but have a utility room. We don't have a utility room in our house as the house is nearly 100 years old. I thought about this the other day. It's not far off until the house is 100, and I thought I might have a party. But I'd have to say the house doesn't want any presents, because I don't want people coming round, do I, giving me items for the home. So I'd have to say we're having a party. Oh, and they could bring an item of food or drink, couldn't they? That's what I could do. I thought that'd be quite fun, having a little party. And then N. Sawney replies to that message and says electricity costs a lot more in England than it does in the US. Oh, I didn't know that. Their bills are insane compared to ours. Dryers are slowly becoming more common. However, many homes really do not have the space. Their machines are much smaller than what we are used to. They can usually be because of the need to fit under a counter in the kitchen, which is where a water hookup can be found. Yeah, that's right. The bathrooms tend to be much smaller than ours as well, so putting a washer in there is not a common option. The newer homes are building things more like we are used to in the US. I still see smaller machines though. Yeah, the only thing is I'd say our houses are all considerably smaller than the houses in America, and our house prices are considerably higher. I've got a friend in America, I think she was in New Hampshire, and she was spending a lot of money on her house. I think she was spending something like, I don't know, say 600,000 or 500,000 or something. But what she was getting was like this size of a stately home. Not as much character as an English stately home, of course, but it was as big as a stately home. It's what we would call a mansion, and it had loads and loads of lands. Whereas here in England, if you spend probably 500, 600,000, you would get a good, a big house, but it would not be a mansion. And nowadays, terrace houses, 2-3 bed terrace houses are around anything from 230,000 to 300,000. So obviously it depends massively where you live. So certain places in the United Kingdom are much cheaper than others. But all the houses and the amount of land you get is a lot less than in America. And then she writes, last thing I'll say, the washer-dryer combo. I saw more of these when I visit family in England to save space. The water collects in a canister inside the machine or a pull-out section. Okay, that's interesting. So it sounds like N. Sawney has got experience of England and America. And then Erica Drake. So a few people have commented on this, which is interesting. She says washing machines tend to go in the kitchen because that's where all the water pipes are. That's right. Plus, like Emma said, most houses don't have utility rooms or laundry rooms, especially older ones. Sometimes one might be added with an extension on the house, but they're not standard for older houses, and most houses in England are fairly old. Also, because of no separate utility or laundry area, it's not always possible to get a tumble dryer either due to limited space. Because again, it would most likely have to go in the kitchen. Yeah, my in-laws, they did put their dryer in their daughter's bedroom. I can remember she had a very big bedroom, so they put it in there. Sometimes you have to put them in another room, like the dining room if you have one, which isn't ideal either. Washer-dryer combos can be used, but they're not always that good, not to mention time-consuming. So it takes several hours just to do one load. That is absolutely right, Erica. If I put my towels on, about 2.5 hours later it comes out damp. My dryer just broke and we're not going to replace it at the moment, as we'll have the heating on soon and washing will easily dry overnight on areas next to the radiators. Yeah, absolutely. Everything that Erica has said is spot on. Couldn't say it better myself. Thank you, Erica. And Rosemary, for goodness sake, get a dryer. You live in England. So I've got this washer dryer and I've got nowhere for a dryer to go. Nowhere for a dryer to go. My dining room does not normally quite look this bad in terms of looking like a washerwoman's house. Carolyn says, we still have to get you a week off for all your jobs. Yeah, I've got some news on that, Carolyn. I've got some news on that. What I'm thinking of doing is I'm thinking of buying 5 days holiday with job number 1 and 5 days holiday with job number 2. Now, I can't put my application in until February, but you apply. If it gets agreed, they work out the hourly rate and your daily rate, and they then deduct that from your pay. That is what I'm thinking about doing. Watch this space. And then the final comment today was from Brooke. Brooke said, I just happened to come upon a video based in the UK at home with Mrs. Moore. It doesn't look like there's a home sense close to you, but if you are ever near one, you might want to stop there to look at baskets and organising goods. Oh, this sounds good, Brooke. I'm now going to go and Google. We have Home Goods here, which I think is a sister company. It's a good thing there's no long one close to us, as I would like to browse there. I'm going to have a look, and then next time we go up to Durham or Newcastle, I could have a look to see if there's one nearby. It sounds like that shop that I like that recently opened, that I think it's Dutch or Swedish, maybe Swedish shop, that I've done a couple of videos where I've done a little clip of us wandering around. It sounds like that, and a bit of a cross between IKEA. I want to go back to IKEA because I want another one of those baskets, and my basket on the stairs is working very well. It really is. And I could do with another one of those to go just by my daughter's cupboard and by her door, because at the moment we've got 2 different plastic containers. So rather than things being left on her floor, if it needs to be put away in her room, it could just be put in the basket. Also, we're using the basket that we did get for her room for washing. So any washing that needs to be put away just goes in there. But actually today, that was sort of about half full, and then I've got another load of washing that was sitting at a door in a washing basket. So she was looking at her stickers in her bedroom. She'd practiced her instrument when she got home from school, and she needed to practice her other instrument because she didn't have a flute lesson today. But she said, "Oh, can I have a break between?" And I said, "Oh, yeah, of course." So she's gone upstairs, and she's got like her scrapbooking tools and her different stickers that she got for her birthday, and she sort of set them all out on that little desk area. It's really sweet what she's done. And she was doing samples apparently of all the different stickers she's got. I think it would be really good for her to have a proper desk and a proper chair. I'm not keen on her doing her homework upstairs in her bedroom. I don't really want her to work in her bedroom, just like I don't really want to work in my bedroom. I would rather that I want her bedroom to be a place of relaxation, making things if she wants to do some of this craft activity with the scrapbooking, or she wants to sit in the mirror, brush her hair or do her nails or something as she gets older. I don't really want the room to be a place for revision, work, etc. But at the moment she's using that area as a little desk, but of course she doesn't have a proper chair, so that's where I would like to make some changes. So her room is really now, it's been what, 2 weeks would you say since my big video? No, maybe longer than that, 3 weeks, and it's still, the floors are all clear. And if anything's left, I say don't forget that, or if sometimes my husband would read a story and then leave the book out. So it is requiring me to constantly remind, but it's going well. I was also thinking about, what I said about earlier about my change of mindset. I was also thinking in our wet room, in the loft room where our bedroom is, I was thinking about all the stuff that I've got in there that I keep because I feel like I should need it. So for instance, somebody has bought me some body lotion. It smells really nice and I should use it, and it's open so I can't give it away. So I feel like I should use it up, because if I put it in the bin, then that's this dreadful waste, isn't it? That's how I feel. But I look at that and I think that's probably sat there for 5 years and I've not used it. It's silly, isn't it? So I'm going to do that second layer on some of these things, or third layer or fourth layer, depending where I am in different rooms. But it's ready to just say, it's really nice that someone bought that for me, but that isn't my cup of tea because of either the chemicals in it or the smell, and I'm going to get rid of it. I'm not a big one for moisturising my skin. I know some people do that every time they get out of the shower and they put the cream on the whole bodies. I don't really do that. So I think I just need to make a decision with some of those things. So at some point soon, you'll see me do another video. So a couple of really big videos that are coming up, which are the pantry, overhauling the pantry again. Then my bedroom, including the little study. I said I don't work much in my bedroom, didn't I? But there's sort of a section which is separate to our bedroom, which I kind of perceive that as being like the little study, so that is separate. And then also the wet room and see how much more I can get rid of. I also need to empty the cupboards, so get all the Halloween stuff out, decide what I'm going to get rid of, if anything. I haven't got loads of Halloween, but there might be some things I can get rid of. And I've also got about 3 bags of toys that my mum gave me that she kept from when I was a baby. So some of those I did not remember or recognise, but I felt really obliged to keep hold of them. I've also got loads of Planet of the Apes things. I like Planet of the Apes films, and I've got loads of like figures and things. Well, they're in the loft cupboard, and I think I should make a decision about them. Either I should get them out and display them in some way, or I should sell them, because what is the point of them being in the loft cupboard? So you can see how I'm changing my mind and my mindset with some things. I've also got some quilt covers that I'm thinking about. So in the main bedroom we only use white quilt covers. I've got some quilt covers which old, but I look at them and feel like, oh, they've still got some wear, so I still should use them. Or presents that I've bought, so I should just give them to the charity shop and let the charity shop make some money. So I didn't do a massive tidy up of the lounge. I just wanted to make it a bit better, because all my daughter's presents from her birthday was spreading across the whole of the rug, and everything was starting to look in a real muddle. The cards had been up for quite a few weeks, so it was time to take the cards down. We do keep her birthday cards, but what I might just do is start going through and saying, well, which ones do we want to keep? We don't need to keep all of them, so maybe just keep a few of the family cards, but she can decide on that. The little glass table has become very dusty and very cluttered, so I took some things off that and put most of the things I took off in the bin. And I do, at some point soon, need to sort through my plants. So some of my plants are really struggling from neglect, outside actually as well as inside. I have found that because I've spent so much time inside trying to sort my house out, I just haven't spent much time outside. And one of the things I feel really sad about is one year, this was about 4 years ago, I stood at my kitchen window and I looked out to the end of the garden where we have a beautiful laburnum tree, absolutely stunning when it flowers. And I looked at it and I suddenly had this pang, this awful feeling that I'd been so busy that I'd missed the laburnum flower. And that's such a beautiful, beautiful tree. And I'd been so busy that year, I'd missed it flowering. And I turned the tap off and I dried my hands and I rushed down the end of the garden. And thank goodness it was all in bud. And I hadn't missed the laburnum. And when my husband came home from work that day, I said, oh, I really thought that I'd missed the flowering. And he said, well, what do you mean? I said, I thought I'd been so busy I hadn't seen it. He said, oh, no. And we had this conversation. Well, this year I did miss it. This year I was so busy and have spent such a small amount of time in my lovely garden, which I really do enjoy my gardening. I never saw the laburnum flower. So that is a very clear message to me that yes, it's really, really important to get my house sorted and my house tidy. And I do feel like I am making strides and making improvements, but that cannot be to the detriment of me not taking a moment, being outside, doing my weeding and my gardening. I love all that. So when I realised that, I felt really sad that I'd somehow completely missed it. And it makes me think of the poem, what life is this? What a life this is full of care. We have no time to stand and stare, no time to watch beneath the boughs as long as some sheep and cows. A poor life this, full of care. We have no time to stand and stare. I'm sorry, someone else probably knows it better off by heart than me, and I got some of the words wrong. But it's so important to spend that time, and I just haven't been outside in the garden as much as I usually am, and that is always my love. You'd be like the house where we used to live, and the washing up could be piled up here. Where was Emma? Out in the garden weeding. So my thoughts and my plan and my view is that the fact that I missed the laburnum, that means that I'm going to get more, by the time I get more done in the house, I'll be able to spend more time in the garden, because I'll have so fewer items in the house. I'll have so fewer, it'll be so much easier to keep things tidy and keep things clean, that I then next year will be able to see the laburnum and spend more time in the garden. So at this point in the video, if you're all still with me, thank you very much for listening to me. And if you're doing your own tidying, cleaning and sorting out at this point, well done, because you've nearly done around 40 minutes. So that's a super job. If you've put this on and then started working, you've done really well. And this is what I told you about earlier. I went through that top shelf and I took a load of things out that is all a bit silly me keeping. So that then meant that I had more space for some other things. I know they don't quite fit here, pots for my plants, but I'd got a pot on my side. You might have seen it. It's a lovely turquoisey one that matches with the tiles in the fireplace. You can still see it just by the side of me on the video, I think. And there was enough space to put that on the top shelf. Now I'm not planning to leave it there, but when I sort the pantry out, I can store some of those things in the pantry, because you can't put them outside and you can't put them in the shed, because if the frost gets them, they'll just crack. I thought the other alternative place I could put them was under the sink, because I've got space under there now because I got rid of so much. So thank you very much for your comments. Thank you for following my journey, all your support, your kindness and your lovely ideas. I very much appreciate all of them. For those of you that are new here, we do have a little community where we chat and people reply to each other's comments. And also, if you are brand new, I'd love to know where you're from. I always like to hear where you're from. We had one person listening from India. Is there anyone else from Asia? Anyone else from Africa? Any other new states in America? And I think we've nearly covered nearly all of the counties in England. We've got people in Northern Ireland, people in Southern Ireland, we've got people in Scotland. Have we got anyone in any of the Scottish Islands? I'm interested in that. And also, remind me, have we got anyone from Wales? I don't think we have. A big shout out to anyone that's listening that's from Wales. And then right at the very end of the video, I thought you'd be interested to see where I had a meeting today. An absolutely stunning building. So I thought I'd do a little tiny clip of the building that I had a meeting at today. Thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.